Artificial Intelligence Doctor. User question. What is the impact of different types of physical activity, aerobic versus resistance versus flexibility training, on the longevity and functionality of the leadless pacemaker battery over time? AI answer. The type of physical activity an elderly patient with a leadless pacemaker engages in can affect the device's battery longevity, though the impact is generally considered to be minor compared to other factors. Here's a breakdown of how different types of exercise relate to battery use. Aerobic exercise, e.g., brisk walking, cycling. This type of activity is most likely to affect battery life because it triggers the pacemaker's rate-responsive algorithm. As you move, the device's accelerometer senses the increased activity and instructs the pacemaker to increase the heart rate to match the body's metabolic demands. Pacing the heart at a faster rate requires more energy, which consumes the battery more quickly than pacing at a lower, resting rate. However, the estimated battery life for these devices is so long, often over 10 years, that this increased activity only slightly shortens the overall lifespan. Resistance training, e.g., light weights. Resistance bands. The impact of resistance training on battery life is similar to aerobic exercise, as long as it's dynamic. The pacemaker's accelerometer will sense the movement and trigger the rate response feature. However, isometric resistance exercises, where muscles contract without movement, like holding a plank, may not trigger the rate response algorithm, so their impact on battery use would be minimal. The primary concern with resistance training in this patient population is not battery longevity, but rather the risk of physical strain or injury, especially in the early post-implant period. Flexibility training, e.g., stretching, yoga. This type of exercise generally has the least impact on battery life. The slow, controlled movements of flexibility training are unlikely to trigger the accelerometer-based rate response feature, meaning the pacemaker would continue to operate at its programmed lower rate. It's important to remember that the most significant factors affecting a pacemaker's battery longevity are the device's programming, the patient's underlying heart condition, and their level of pacing dependency, i.e., how often the device needs to deliver an electrical impulse to the heart.